Today I'm going to be speaking to you about a grim change. Whether or not you've noticed this change matters not, for it's already happened. Speaking of course, change in Disney movies. When I was a child, I grew up watching Disney movies. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I still do today. However, I've noticed some changes that make today's movies just not the same as they used to be. As children, I'm sure we all had our favorite Disney movies, whether it be Little Mermaid, The Lion King. But I'm afraid that because of all these changes occurring, that future generations will not get the same Disney experiences we had in our days. So today I'm going to reveal for you how Disney has changed its animation, altered its characters, and how the scores will never be the same. To begin, Disney has teamed up with Pixar to change its animation style. Disney used to have its animation drawn by hand, so the images were flat and two-dimensional. If you take a look at this picture of the Little Mermaid, she's drawn with little detail and depth. That may seem like a bad thing, but it allows the viewer to focus more on the main character than her surroundings. If you take a look at Lewis here from Meet the Robinsons, you can tell he's drawn with more depth and dimension than any characters ever before. Meet the Robinsons is a Disney Pixar film, so he's drawn with mostly computer graphics rather than by the hands of gifted artists. In addition to the change in animation, Disney has also changed who provides voices for its characters. They used to focus on committing time to finding voiceover actors and actresses that would fit the voices for the characters that they imagined. Today they focus more on finding celebrities and stars to create hype for the movie's release. For example, when the movie Bolt came out, it was really publicized that Miley Cyrus and John Travolta were in it rather than, oh, Bolt is a really great movie. And in a more recent example, the movie Rio, I've seen numerous trailers for Rio advertising how many celebrities are in it. I know it stars Anne Hathaway I know it stars Anne Hathaway, George Lopez, Jake T. Austin, will.i.am, and Jamie Foxx, but I have no idea what the movie's about. Not only is Disney spending more time on finding actors and actresses that are going to create hype for the movie, they also change the scores and they'll never be the same. I remember being a child and watching Disney movies and hearing memorable songs like hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. And I'd sing them in the shower, or I just can't wait to be king, which my brother would get in trouble for singing in Little League. But today, these will just never be the same. Disney now only provides background music, and no one's going to buy a sing-along for the child to background music. Sadly, the only recent, I recently saw one of the movies, the recently released Disney movies last year, Toy Story 3, and I was anything but pleased. I was really excited that Toy Story 3 was coming out because as a child I watched Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, and although it was made with Pixar, I really enjoyed the film. So I flocked to the midnight showing of Toy Story, and I purchased my ticket. I got these things, because I thought, if I'm going to see something in 3D, it's going to be Toy Story 3. So I got these, I got to my seat, and I toyed with them in anticipation during the previews. And finally, please put on your 3D glasses. Oh wow, the beginning credits are in 3D, it's like I can touch them, it's 3D. Well, look at that, is this zero box? Like, the words are in 3D. Okay, the ending credits are in 3D too. And that was it. In my Disney days, if I was going to pay extra at a movie theater, it's to see a double feature, not a failed 3D attempt. The only recent Disney film that I can think of that was the exception to all these faulty changes was The Princess and the Frog. How many have seen The Princess and the Frog? It's a great movie. Princess and the Frog featured voiceover actors that fit the characters' personalities perfectly. It had some voice talents from Bill Jeffrey and Terrence Howard and John Goodman, but their contributions were kept were not widely publicized to create hype. Also, it was made without the help from Pixar, so it was drawn in two-dimensional. It was two-dimensional, and it was not released in 3D for no reason, like Toy Story 3. Also, the characters sang in the movie, which is really great. They sang songs like "Born on the Bayou," and "You Gotta Dig a Little Deeper," and one of my favorites. Who wouldn't want to sing along DVD to that? So today, I talked to you about how Disney's changed its animation, altered its characters, and sacrificed its scores. Maybe, just maybe, if we wish upon a star, Disney will return to the way it used to make movies. Thank you.
All right, well, you've got a little bit of humor in the introduction, although I think it's maybe a bit subtle, and I think one of the things that makes some of the material that you're doing not work quite as well as it could have is that you need to put in a little more energy, a little bit more personality, and you need to relax a little bit while you're doing it. You seem to be focused on getting everything right and being exactly perfect, and instead of having fun with the kind of joke that you're making, it's like, all right, now, how's my joke go? Do I have the thing in the right part? Have I done the right thing? And it just feels a little too mechanical. I thought you had a really solid preview of what the content was going to be, so we're going to be able to follow it pretty well. And I like the visual comparisons that you have at the beginning, so I thought you were integrating the visual materials pretty well into the speech. The only spot that there was a little bit of a problem was at the end when we're having to wait for your clip to come up. That would have been one of those things that I think you would have wanted to set up before you got started, so it's already set. All you have to do is kind of click the button and it goes. So that was just a little bit of awkwardness there. I like some of the ideas that you have, some of the criticisms that you make. I will point out that Rio is not a Disney film, so it doesn't fit into your category. That screws things around a little bit. But I thought the other examples that you had of voice casting were fine, although maybe those are the more unique ones. I'm trying to remember in Meet the Robinsons if there are any famous voices that are being cast, or in some of those other movies that you mentioned, and the closest that you come to having one that illustrates that point is Toy Story 3. I think you've got a criticism of Toy Story 3 about the 3D, but it was not quite as clear as it should have been. I like the idea of what you were talking about, but I'm not sure everybody gets what you're talking about because of the way it's being presented. On presentation issues, like I said, you need a little bit more energy while you're going through it. You need to relax a little bit and have some more fun. I can see that you're trying to have fun talking about it, but part of the thing that's problematic is that you're not relaxing enough to enjoy what's going on. And you can see some things that are very nervous. You are kind of pulling your hands and pulling your sleeves down and playing with your necklace. There's a little bit of self-consciousness there. You have a tendency whenever you get stuck for an idea to look down at the ground and internalize and sort of think about what the next thing coming is. And because you're having to try to remember everything that you're going to talk about, there are those, the pacing is just off. It just feels slow. Instead of being jaunty and excited and angry when it should be, it feels a little bit belabored. And that's really the vocal delivery in the presentation more than anything else. And that would be one of those things that I think you could practice a lot more and get better at. And when you deal with the anxiety more, I think it would come across a lot more effectively. The ideas are fine, and you've got some interesting material, and you do some nice things in the presentation, but it's not as successful as it could be because of those limitations. All right, thank you.